The 2020-21 season countdown is brought to you by Odds Checker, your one-stop betting hub.
Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show daily, here to keep you up to date with all the news, the breaking news sometimes. There are just 2 days to go to the return of the Premier League season. We'd like to say thank you to Odds Checker for sponsoring our 2020-21 season countdown. Odds Checker is the one-stop betting hub where you can go on there, check all the odds from all the leading bookmakers, but also bet through the app as well. It's like Deliveroo for betting apps. So make sure you check it out. There is a link in our description. Don't forget, you've got to be 18 and you've got to bet responsibly. Let's talk about a player that could be coming back to the Premier League. That man's name is Gareth Bale. Real Madrid want him gone. They want this fella gone so much that they are apparently prepared to pay half of his wages or a proportion of his wages to get him out. He could be available for as little as £22 million. Can you see anyone in the Premier League going for this? That's not a good start, but come on.
I just can't. I can't at the moment because his wages are so big. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a story here. Real Madrid will have to pay up Gareth Bale's £60 million contract to get rid of him with a cut price transfer or paid for wages unable to get. And they're unable to get United or Spurs to take him at the moment. Because he's 31. He's on 400 grand a week, I think it is.
Yeah.
Who's paying even 200 grand a week for a 31-year-old?
No. Do you know what Gareth Bale's biggest problem is? He's got no commercial sellability at all. I don't even know if that's a word. He's got nothing.
No appeal.
He's got no appeal, has he? No appeal. Wales is a lovely, lovely country, but it ain't like they're all buying Gareth Bale. Even if they'd all buy Gareth Bale shirts, it still wouldn't be enough. That is his biggest problem. That they bought him. And of course, he was a big property and he's done brilliantly for him. Let's never forget that. But he's not got any kind of commercial appeal. That would mean that clubs around the world are lining up just because they think, well, we can sell shirts off the back of his name. And that is, it's all about football, which is what it should be about, of course. But to justify those wages, you need that. And he hasn't got any of that. And as you just said, it means it's a real struggle.
He's just stuck there.
Yeah.
He has done fantastic for them, done Champions Leagues with them, scored a lot of goals. Obviously, there's an issue with him and Zidane, quite clearly. And it's who takes him, and that's the issue with them coming back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Liverpool aren't going to touch him. City aren't going to touch him, so there's the top two out the way. Chelsea, not constructing a different type of squad. United, there was a time it looked like he might go to United, but is Solskjaer really, do United really want a 31-year-old?
They're haggling over Sancho.
Jadon Sancho's the one they want. They've also got Greenwood, Martial and Rashford, who are young players. Dan James is there, but he's another forward player. They want Sancho. They don't. At this stage, it looks unlikely
but
they're going to want Bale.
We've said this, haven't we, recently? The game has completely changed now. The days of anyone over 20, 27, 28 getting a real long-term, brilliant contract are gone. Football clubs now have just completely switched on to the fact of sell-on value and all this now, the Moneyball situation. They've all realised that you give a big contract to someone who's 27, unless you're, number one, know for an absolute cast iron that player's going to stay at your club, a la like a Messi, someone like that, or a Ronaldo, who's absolute proven, but also you'll get the money back in the commercial side of things as well. You know, we've seen it with Wilfred Zaha's the big one here, isn't he? Where he signed that contract because it was like, well, this will look after the club because we'll get a nice big offer for him, and this will look after you because you get wages. And the summer after, there was no takers for him. They all thought, Arsenal were going to pay the money, and Arsenal were like, no. Then they thought Everton were going to pay the money, and Everton were like, we'll go to 50. And now, 2 summers later, Zaha's desperate to get out. No one wants to pay the money, and 2 years of his age now has gone as well. So the idea of anyone coming in for him is mad. Let me just throw some of the... So Tottenham are still 5-2, but I think that's wishful thinking. Man United are 10-1. any MLS team 20-1. Now I just think no one in MLS is going near him because of the commercial. Yeah. It's not like there's a club in the middle of a big Welsh area of America, is there? Like, you can understand when they go, like, say, like Galaxy go for a Chicharito, Mexican, huge appeal. You can understand that. If there's or Wayne Rooney going to DC United, huge pull of it being Wayne Rooney. But even that wouldn't mean anywhere near his wages. There's no way any MLS team are going to go after him. Chinese Super League, 25-1. Well, I thought the Chinese Super League had been rolled back so that they couldn't bring him in.
They wanted them last year, and Real Madrid pulled the thing on them.
Paris Saint-Germain, 25-1. Juventus, 33-1.
Juve do pay ridiculous wages.
And then there's a few Premier League teams. Everton, Arsenal, Fulham, 33-1. But that's not happening for any of them.
No. Everton and Arsenal certainly aren't paying if Fulham couldn't justify it. Now, he's stuck, unless Real Madrid turn around, but then he would want the money. He said he's quite happy to sit there for 2 years on his, or if you read between the lines, he's happy to just sit on his contract.
Play golf.
If Real Madrid went,
play for Wales.
We'll give you nothing. You can go for nothing, just to go. And then he renegotiated the deal with the club. Someone might pay him 100 grand a week to take a chance on him at 31, but no one's paying him 200, 250 at the moment, and no one's certainly, but I don't think at this moment people are paying 22, 23 million for him and then giving him 200 grand a week or whatever. I just don't see it. But you never, footy's mad and it could quite happen, could happen, but it looks unlikely at this moment in time. And it's just the last year or so, his career's just going nowhere, is it? Sitting on a bench.
Interesting. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Gareth Bale. What else is going on? With
Danny Drinkwater's revealed he's seeing a sports psychologist in a bid to jumpstart his career. He's 30 now. Hasn't played footy for a couple of years. Went to Burnley.
Again, another one.
Villa didn't work. Went to Villa and headbutted Jota, didn't he? So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
He'd had problems at Burnley. So he's another one. He's on 10 grand a week. Hasn't played for a couple of seasons, needs to get that sorted. Michy Batshuayi, excuse me, looks like he's going to go to Crystal Palace on loan. He was there a couple of seasons ago, wasn't he? Another one, Chelsea bought him for 33 million in 2016. Not really done anything, has he? He's someone with a lot of promise, but I think he's 26, 27 now. Just feels like...
Do you think that sort of... Do you think we're coming to a point now where players are going to start realising that going to big clubs who love stockpiling players, is coming to an end? Do you think players are going to start... Because there's two players there, Danny Drinkwater and Batshuayi. They both went to Chelsea, right? And they've done very, very little. Loans and all the rest of it. Batshuayi come for another loan with Crystal Palace. Drinkwater doesn't know where his career's going. Drinkwater's 30. He left the champions of England at the time to go to Chelsea, and his career's, he's done nothing.
No,
he's got loads of money.
He's hardly played.
But his career's nearly done. Yeah. His career's nearly over. Do you think now we could get a rebalancing where players start going, well, you know what? Actually, I'll go somewhere when I know I've got a position. I know I'm gonna play. I know I'm gonna be in the manager's thoughts all the time. Or do you think footballers are going to continue to be greedy?
It comes down to that, doesn't it? I guess if you're a footballer and you're doing really well, you've probably got faith in your own ability. That's why a lot of them go. They'll be thinking, yeah, but I can get in there, and if I do it there, I'm made. The reality is a lot of these places where they're going, history tells you that they don't give you that chance unless you're the top draw. Yeah. Danny Drinkwater has gone in. After, Kanté went there and Drinkwater was going, and it was going to be Kanté and Drinkwater. But the reality was it wasn't. It was going to be Kanté because he was brilliant. Drinkwater was more of a squad signing and to come in and do job. Do you want that? We are seeing some players pull back from these clubs. Look at Phil Coutinho, for argument's sake, was doing well at Liverpool. Went to Barca, it was like, he's gone to Barca, he's going to be unbelievable there now. he's another one that's been offered around everywhere because he's gone to Bayern. They don't want to pay the money, even though we've come on and was brilliant in the Champions League for them. They don't want to pay the money. Barca, now if Koeman had anything about him, he'd find a role for him in that Barcelona team and give him a fresh start and go, I'm going to play you, because he's got the ability. If he doesn't do that, then where does he go? He's been linked with Everton. He's been linked with Arsenal. He was linked with Newcastle when there was an alleged takeover. So he's another one who's gone for big. Now, he's a little bit different because I feel as though Barca put that much money into him. It looked as though he was going to be a key player for them. But other players who you see go to these clubs, I think footballers have got to be very careful, I think, now when you're looking at these super clubs and going, am I going to play?
Yeah.
If you're not that bothered, if you just want to be part of the squad and the squad player, then fair enough, keep doing it. But we have seen some players who were having good careers and doing well move to these places. And I look at Kurt Zouma, and I know he was at Chelsea, so it's slightly different, but I just think he's another one where you don't, he's 25, 26, and you're not sure whether he's there number one yet still. And if
your career's
going, it's ebbing away. Like Tomori, who's been linked with Everton, he's 23 in December.
I've seen, was it on the Tottenham documentary with Harry Kane saying, well, I'm 27 now, like, I'm coming to the latter, like, you break in and then it takes, you
said it goes so quick,
didn't he's like, I'm 27 now, I'm hitting the final contract.
Danny Rose is like, I'm nearly 30, and you're like, oh my God, Danny Rose, nearly 30, but your career does go quickly, and I just think too many players, listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same and you wouldn't do the same, but I think it depends how much your career means to you. If you're looking and going, oh, if you're, I don't know, Richarlison doing well at Everton, Barca want you. Rather than, and to be fair, he has referenced this, but rather than just going, it's Barca, I'm going, whatever, look and go, whoever it may be, and think, am I really going to be guaranteed games at that club? Am I playing there?
But then again, I suppose on the flip side, they'll think, well, it is a short career. Am I ever going to get the chance again to sign for that club? So I suppose that's the thing, isn't it?
That's the trade-off, isn't it? But Ronald Koeman, just talking about his job, obviously, is a lot easier now that Lionel Messi's agreed to stay, but he's still got a couple of areas they need to sort out, centre-back. That's on here, this graphic they're showing Wijnaldum. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't signed for them, but it's there. There's another space on the other side. You see, that's where I'd have Coutinho and then. Atletico Madrid turned down a £46 million bid from Juve for Alvaro Morata, who obviously spent some time at Juve a few years ago.
That's what makes me think they might actually go for Bale, though. When you're throwing bids like that in for...
Morata's like 27 now, isn't he?
Yeah.
But then again,
is the Suarez deal off?
I don't know, because it doesn't look like... He's stuck in... He's waiting for Barcelona to pay a loyalty payment to him of like something like 30 million or 25 million or something, I think, before he signs for Juve. So whether that, I don't know whether that's in an attempt to force Barcelona's hand, saying we're going for Morata then. Because I don't know. Who knows? Bielsa's confirmed he's staying as manager of Leeds this season. He hasn't committed up until the other week.
He not?
He hasn't signed it. And the other, I guess, the two big things coming out of it. One, Patrick Emerick Aubameyang is about to sign a 3-year deal, according to reports. It'll make him the highest paid ever Arsenal player. He'll be on. Looks like 400 grand a week to stay at Arsenal, which is an incredible amount of money. And Tottenham's request to have 8,000 fans in the stadium for the Everton game this weekend is rejected by the government.
Really surprising.
They're going to review.
6 people can't be together, or 7 people can't.
Well, exactly, and it's cases are going up and all that. I personally, I don't see us back in stadiums for a while, but there you go.
Sad.
That's about it.
Troy Deeney looks like he's leaving Watford. It might be a year loan somewhere. He wants to play in the Premier League, 32. This is a lad who does obviously want to play football, but he wants to be in the Premier League. Watford won't stand in the way. West Brom have been linked. Be interesting now, wouldn't it, if he went on loan to West Brom for a year, and then Watford got promoted, and then he went back to Watford to play. Be very unique.
But I guess if he went to West Brom and kept them up, then they'd see it as well worth it, wouldn't he? It's Premier League experience, isn't he? He's a handful.
Yeah.
Interesting, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Any more news appearing? Ralph Hasselhull is wants new players. He's
They've only really
desperate
got
for new
Kyle
players.
Walker-Peters in, didn't
Yeah, yeah. So he's desperate for new players. They're after Emile Dennis from Club Brugge, who's a striker.
We've got a couple he can have.
Wesley Hoyt, they're after.
Are they, yeah?
Yeah. Wesley Hoyt going to Belgium.
I was going to
sorry.
say, didn't
Wesley
play
Hoyt
for them already?
So, Wesley Hoyt going to Belgium, sorry.
I'm going to say played for them. Bought him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could be on his way out, sorry. So, yeah, because you're right. They brought the centre-back in, didn't they, from Spain?
Yeah,
Early on.
And
then obviously Højbjerg's left.
Lad from Valladolid.
So and obviously they want to build on a really good season last season, good end to the season. Wasn't good early on, obviously.
No.
Great second half of the season.
He finished the season very well though, didn't he? Because you know, like you said, they at one time, you know, getting beat 9-0 at home.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they do need new players. Obviously, we brought in Walker-Peters and Mohamed Salassu, who the left-footed centre back from Valladolid. There's a Valladolid, I think. He's been linked with a couple of teams, so they've shored that up, but they are still a couple short. They've obviously lost Højbjerg.
Yeah.
So
there you go. 2 days to go till Premier League football returns. Don't forget, make sure if you want to, you download the Odds Checker app. The link is in our description. Don't forget you've got to be 18. Bet responsibly, that's the most important thing. Make sure you bet responsibly. And we'll be back tomorrow where we'll be looking at some of the games over the weekend with only a day to go. So make sure you join us for that. Thanks for watching The Footy Show. We will see you later.